Good afternoon, sir.
So the intro music like gets me all hyped now.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, dude,
Get you
the
going.
show's starting. We're here. We're back.
We are back. I haven't seen you in a while, man.
A week, 5 days. I haven't
Yeah,
done anything since Sunday.
yeah.
We're here though. So what's up? Pleasure to
We
see
are
everybody.
we're back.
Yeah, I'm stoked, man. We talked about it before, but I just really just love this part of my week.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
so
the best way to wrap up the week, man. I'm telling you what.
totally,
Just kind of brings
totally.
everything full circle. Plus
Yeah,
it's good to hang out with some cool fucking people.
yeah, dude. Well, and what I've learned is I really enjoy doing this. I do
Yeah.
not enjoy doing this every night of the week, though. That was something I learned.
Yeah.
so, so I think a couple times a week is good. It's plenty for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean that's where I'm at with that, dude. So,
I like it.
um, how's everything been going? You good?
Good. Good.
Heck yeah, dude. Heck
What's
yeah.
up? What's up with everybody out there? We
Yeah,
haven't
let's
seen
hear
you
it.
all for 5 days.
Yeah, tell us what's up. It's like one of our favorite things. We like hearing from you. So let's hear it. Um, so yeah, we're back. We've been gone since Sunday after 2 weeks straight of nightly episodes.
Yeah.
So that was cool. We learned a lot. Um, what do you think? What are your takeaways from that? I mean, we never got to really decompress about it because we didn't do it on the air on Sunday. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Biggest takeaways um was the community that we built. The community that was built over 14 days was absolutely incredible, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it continue building.
I'm there. Hey, what's up? Hey, Jackie. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, sorry. I had it. So, there's more costs to drinking than just the alcohol itself. Like I took poor care of my teeth, so I've been slowly, incrementally taking care of that.
Mhm.
Um, I have a mentorship group. We meet every Wednesday and Sunday, and this Wednesday was when I went to the dentist. I went in the morning, and I was like, "I'll be good by 3 in the afternoon,"
Yeah.
and I was wrong. Like it hurt to even open my mouth. I was like, "I'm not getting on and talking with this group for an hour." So I bailed. So that's how she knew that my teeth hurt.
I
'Cause I
like
was like,
it.
I can't do it. Can't
I
do it.
like it.
Yeah, I love your takeaway. I don't want to take away from that. Um, I think mine's there too. I'm with you there. Like
Yeah.
the building of a community and our ability to within a 2 week period really have like an audience that continued to show up because they enjoyed what we were doing for them
Yeah.
really was what it was all about. Finding out if that was something that we could do was
Mhm.
sustainable.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I learned I need boundaries and I can't do it every day. That's a huge thing. Yeah. So, but
Dude,
well, go ahead,
boundaries are the backbone.
dude. Huge, huge. We talk about it on the show all the time, and we had to go play with fire, get burned to
Yeah, yeah.
realize that hey, this is
Just
where
go touch
ours
it.
were. Yeah, that was enough. So who are we? Who are you? What's up with
Hey,
this guy
everybody.
over here?
I
Over
am
here.
Dr. Ryan. I am a professional relationship coach and relationship expert. Um, I help you take back control of your relationship. I help you turn your relationship back around to where it's thriving and good to go for the future. That's kind of what I do. I'm here to talk about relationships, the relationship side of everything.
That you are, man. And
Yes,
that
yes, I
thrive
am.
word, I'm a big fan of. Big fan of. Um, yeah. I mean, you've helped my relationship so much. Just being on the show with you, making me be focused on my own relationship. Um, outside of the relationship. It's been great.
Heck yeah.
So I'm Dillon Reed. I am a professional sobriety coach, recovery expert. I don't care how you want to wrap it, whatever word you like. But I help you take control of the car again instead of having alcohol with you duct taped in the trunk of your car, not in control of your life and letting alcohol do
Mhm.
all the driving. So that's my thing. I drank for about 20 years and I've been sober for about 3.5. and I've helped thousands of people get sober since I got sober. So maybe you're next. Together we are Dillon in the Doc,
We
where
are.
relationships meet recovery, right?
That is
Yeah.
100% true.
Yeah. So if you have relationship or recovery related questions, drop them in the comments. We do our best to get to them on the show. I can't say
Yeah.
we always get to them on the show, but we try depending on how many questions we have.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you think we should let them know what the plan
Yeah.
is for the future?
Let's kick the plan out there. Let them know what's going on.
So first, I do want to say this. I have like a giveaway at the end of the show. So stick around because community is huge. We were talking about building this community. I built a community. I want you to be a part of the community if you're trying to stay sober. It's a whole group of people trying to stay sober. I'll give you more details at the end. But let's talk about your and I's community. So what do we want to do over the next, I don't know how long we'll run the show, but what's it look like?
What does the community look like?
Yeah, when are we going to go live? What's the plan now?
Oh, the plan now is every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central.
Yeah.
And every other Friday, we'll be doing a 3 p.m. Central, then a 9 p.m. Central show. So 2 on Friday, every other week, and that's going to begin next Tuesday.
Yes. The Tuesday coming up, we will be live at 9 p.m. Central Time, and then that Friday we will be or we will not be.
What, next Friday?
Yeah,
next Friday will be a double header.
Okay, so Tuesday is the beginning of it. You'll get us Tuesday, twice on Friday, then Tuesday, then once on Friday.
Yep.
What I'm going to do, I'll put together a Dillon in the Doc Facebook page that anybody can follow so that you guys can see what our forecasted events will be, just so that you don't have to keep in your head which Friday it is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we got going on. The reason we did that is because we talked to our ladies. We talked about that being important on the show. So we did it in our real lives.
Yeah.
And went and got some permission. Hey, when's it cool if we do this? So
yeah,
that's what we landed on. We just couldn't do it every weekend. I apologize, guys. It's just not. It's
not in the books. It's not good for either of our relationships or us. And my relationship is not something I will sacrifice for anyone.
Totally. I'm with you. And I guess that was one of my takeaways. Is like I realized, man, the audience would love to have us on the air every single night, if possible, for like longer than an hour even. But it's just, I got 4 kids. I got a wife. He's got a lady. We all have responsibilities, and I'm just not young and single enough to be able to just live on a live show for you guys every day.
Yeah.
So,
but that also leaves time for, like I said, building a community. Everybody to send comments on these videos, come on to our pages and leave comments on reels or posts and leave your questions for us. Like, leave them anywhere and we'll get to them in the show at some point.
Totally. So how does that sound to everybody? What do you think? You like that Tuesday and every other Friday at 9 Central? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. We're definitely interested. Yeah. So
yeah, let's
do the thing.
Let's get the comments rolling. Let's
rusty,
hear people's thoughts. I can't talk into a void.
Hey, you can. I can.
We can.
I do it all the time.
I
have 4 kids under the age of 8 that talk to walls all the time. It's a thing I do. It's okay.
I mean, that's my office most days.
Me too. You can't see it, but yeah. Half studio set, half production studio, where I edit the podcast and all that fun stuff. So there was a theme that came up quite a bit that I kind of want to touch on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Should I?
What theme would that be, Mr. Dillon?
Well, it would be good old negative self-talk. I want to let Christina know we'll get to you today. I promise you. We're not going to ignore you. It's not going to happen. I'm going to go ahead and flag her comment real quick. But if you looked at everything we talked about in the last 2 weeks, negative self-talk was pretty frequent in
Yeah.
these people's lives, whether it was their relationship, their disbelief in their ability to get sober, all those things. So I figure we should talk about it. You want to talk about negative self-talk?
Yeah, it's really, I'm looking back at my notes from last week, and kind of the overarching theme was it's holding everybody back from actually embracing the change that they so desperately need in their lives. It's them telling
Bingo.
themselves they're not good enough. It's them telling themselves I can't, which I hate that word, that phrase when people are trying to work on themselves, work on their relationship. You can. The other pet peeve I have of self-talk is try. I'm trying. No, you're not trying. Like there is a do and there is you're not doing. I'm either doing it or you're not. There's no real in between.
I'm with you. I'm with you there. I know somebody that says I'm thinking I might try. I'm like, that's like one step removed from even
Yeah.
trying. Like I'm thinking about maybe trying. Like
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Um,
Like what, and I feel like that's a part procrastination.
yeah, I hear you. Hear you
Um
there.
like if I can say this, if I can tell myself I'm trying, like that's me doing something.
Boom.
It's like the laziest way to actually accomplish something.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm trying. It's just it's the worst thing you can tell yourself when you're in situations of needing to get sober or when you're needing to fix your relationship. Oh, I'll try to talk to her.
yeah.
Oh, I'll try to incorporate some of this. I'll try to go to the gym. I'll try to be better about this.
It's like you're like pacifying what you're actually going to do.
Yeah.
Like, well, and I mean, it's like without the like woo woo metaphysical, your thoughts become reality. That's what you act on. Thoughts
Mhm.
and feelings become behaviors. Like that's what happens, right? So if you're just always telling yourself you're going to try, then you're just going to try. You're just trying. Like you're
Yeah.
never going to do the thing because I'm
No.
just trying. I'm thinking
No.
about trying. I might give it a shot.
It is like
Um,
the more you tell yourself stuff, that's where self-fulfilling prophecies come from. You keep
totally,
telling yourself, I can't, I don't need to, I don't want to. You keep telling yourself that stuff. That's exactly what's going to happen.
totally. Yeah. Like when someone tells me they can't get sober, um, first of all, I correct them and let them know that there's plenty of proof around them that they can because
Yeah.
nobody around them is more special. But I also sometimes let them know, like, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're going to be right either way. Like, that's just the way it works. Like, if you
Mhm.
decided you can't get sober, then I promise you, you cannot. That's
Yeah.
from personal experience and a lot of observation.
Yeah.
If you decide you can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
So,
What you tell yourself is going to happen,
totally. Yeah. I
which
mean,
which which is kind of the crux of negative self-talk.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
just brings you down lower and lower and lower. It gets in your way. It's the killer of all motivation and discipline.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like once you can flip that and turn those into positive statements, you'll see so much positive change in your life.
Totally, totally. And it can be a very difficult. It's a habit.
Yeah.
Negative self-talk is a habit. It can be
Yeah.
difficult to break because it's a learned behavior.
Mhm.
Not to drop the T word, but because of trauma, generally as a kid, like your parents blaming their experience on you. Like I'm late
Yeah.
because of you, this because of you, all of these
Yeah.
things because of you. So then you reflect all of those negative sentiments on yourself later on in life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's a bummer. These are those generational curses that people talk about. Because trust me, your dad wasn't trying to be an asshole. Your dad just didn't know any better at that point in his life. Like
No.
blaming you for everything because that's what his dad did to him or mom
Yeah.
did to him or whoever, right? Um,
Yeah, but like, man, once you get to the realization that my voice is the only one that matters.
yeah,
Like that's it. My
yeah,
voice, the voice in my head, what I say, what I do, my actions, how I talk to myself, that's the only thing that really matters. Um, and I'm sure that was a big part of getting sober
yeah,
is
yeah.
stop with the try, stop with the maybe, stop with the I can't,
So
right?
you're like telling me I had to choose one day
you
I
had to
had to
make a
start telling myself I could do it.
yeah, you had to choose. I'm
Yeah.
guessing. I'm
Yeah.
guessing you had some kind of
It was very much like that. Not everybody's favorite answer. I didn't just get hit by a car or something or struck by lightning and decide to get sober. It was a lot of things, and then I chose,
yeah.
but yeah, dude. Um, I really I wish people would talk to themselves the way they talk to everyone else. That's the craziest part about it. Like we go
Mhm.
around the world, most of us, okay. Here's my hasty generalization paintbrush right here, broad strokes. Most of us talk to the world around us kindly and then talk to ourselves like garbage. And
Yeah.
it's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not, I want to make it clear. I'm not some pro over here who only has bright, shiny things to say about myself because
Yeah.
I have days still, you
Yeah.
know, um, people seem to think that because we're doing stuff like this that our lives are perfect and they're wrong. If our
Uh,
lives were perfect, I wouldn't be here.
no. It takes the discipline. Like some days you don't want to get up.
Yeah.
Like sometimes and not like not get out of bed, but sometimes you don't want to get up early and do the things you need to do that
Yeah.
you need to do. Sometimes you don't want to be nice to somebody. Sometimes you don't want to talk to yourself real kindly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you want to talk to yourself negatively, but you got to make it happen.
No, no, I'm with you there 100%. Um, I kind of I want to wrap this into the question we have for Christina, because
Yeah.
that was my experience. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Let's yeah.
You want to
I
throw
want to
that
hear
up
some of
there?
I want to hear some of this.
You, you throw it up, I'll throw it up. What do you want to
I'll
do?
throw it up.
One of us,
Well,
because otherwise we'll both click it, and then it won't go up at all. There we go. So I can't join the live today, but I'm wondering about others' experiences with intimacy after sobriety. I feel like my body isn't responding the same, less pleasurable. Anyone have a similar experience? Does that change with time or only with partners? LOL. Um, so this one's interesting because I had both experiences, like this hardcore performance anxiety. Because like
mhm.
I'll be honest with you, I do not actually know if I ever had sex sober, to be completely honest, until I
Yeah.
got sober. Um, I don't know. I can't think of a time really. I started drinking at a pretty young age. I actually used alcohol as like a crutch to like break into that kind of awkward, uncomfortable experience
Uh-huh.
for the first time, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just never really stopped. Um, so I was concerned about like my ability to last because I know that alcohol has this like nice little numbing effect that can let you, be a Superman or whatever in the
Yeah.
bedroom. Really concerned about those. Um, so there's like this lots of anxiety, which then I spent so much time in my head that I wasn't in the other head, so
Yeah.
it just wasn't working the way
Yeah.
it's supposed to. I know it's embarrassing as hell for anyone to admit, but hey, here I am letting you know. So yeah, that was rough. Also rough because then your partner thinks that it's somehow their fault, and that's all way fun to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I've been there. I know how that goes. I would say, hang on, hold on. Part of it is this funnel dopamine thing and just hormonal imbalances that you're experiencing in early recovery. I don't know how far you are into this, but it's more pleasurable now. So
Yeah.
that's the reality. I can't talk about the partners thing because I've been married. I guess I could, but I don't and I won't, and that's the rules that
The
we made.
yeah.
So I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But
It's here's the thing. If it changes with partners, it's because something changed emotionally, not with the physical individual.
yeah,
So you need to get back on and bring back an emotional connection, talking about trust, your bond, sharing emotions, like all of that stuff. So many things that you neglected while you were using is part of the reason why the intimacy is so difficult on top of on top of the alcohol use.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're used to it one way where you had heightened senses. I'm guessing that it's because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but now, right, you're having to get back and you're in your head more. You're not feeling that emotional connection because you're not working on it. Once you start working on the emotional connection, you start working on the trust, getting rid of some of the guilt, all of these things that you're feeling, and you work on them. The intimacy, the pleasure is going to come back in the relationship,
Yeah.
in the sex. The sex is going to get better through that.
Yeah. Because there's I don't know, that emotional component's huge. The closer my
Yeah,
wife and I are, the better it is. Like when we're off,
yeah,
you know, the out of rhythm,
yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Um, so now we really are like Dr. Drew right now.
Dude,
But
it's insane how much that emotional connection plays in to the pleasure that you receive from sex with your partner.
well, yeah, and that's why you're on the show, because here comes the relationship guy coming in and letting us, and he's schooling us on,
Like,
hey, if your sex life
yeah,
sucks, this is why.
yeah.
Like,
Like
fix
if
that.
you're just out having sex, that's one thing,
Yeah.
right? It's
Different
just
game.
sex. Cool, whatever.
Yeah,
If you want to have intimacy, real true intimacy, it starts with that emotional connection with your partner.
totally. Totally
And
with you there, man.
that's where the euphoric feeling, that's where the orgasm, all of that's going to intensify and get better.
Well, thanks for connecting dots in hindsight for me, because I think that there was a huge component to that too. Because um, at first, with my wife and I, was really good when I got sober because we hadn't seen each other in like a year, like
Yeah.
not even exaggerating. So like there's that. It was like I got back from war, right?
Yeah.
Then we were disconnected because I was a different person.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little different, but largely it remained the same. So it just
Yeah.
took us a while to like vibe again. So maybe there's more to it than I even thought there was without your help kind of unpacking it. So you
Yeah.
thanks,
I think,
man.
yeah.
That's what you
Yeah.
do.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's,
man.
but now you guys are back on track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Thanks
and
for reminding me about that.
that I think answers her question.
Yeah, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
got anything else?
It does change with time, not with partner.
Yeah. Yeah. Um,
So yeah, I
well,
like that. And
yeah, with
talk
a
to
new
yourself,
partner over time.
get out of your head. Talk a little bit better. Get out of your head, talk a little bit better about yourself, bringing it full circle to negative self-talk.
That's what I'm saying right there. Um, well, and I mean, this is kind of we're dealing with like a difficulty adapting to change too here,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah.
You know? So what does that
100
look like in a relationship beyond sex?
the change.
Yeah, difficulty adapting to it,
I
dealing with
mean, you're
things being different, right?
you're relearning who you are. We've talked about this at length.
Yeah,
Who you are, you're relearning who your partner is, you're relearning what your positions are in the relationship, how you're reacting. There's
in
so
more than
much
one
that
way.
goes in. Yeah, there's so much that goes into it, and you're having to adapt kind of on the go.
Yeah,
You're especially couples who have like emotionally separated. They're not physically apart, they're emotionally apart. They're intimately separated. You have to relearn who you are in those contexts. Like, what do you like? What do you dislike? What are you passionate about? What are your desires? And you've got to relearn that from the ground up. So um I guess that's where some of that comes back to, is just relearning who you are. And I think that translates over to sobriety really well, because you're relearning who you are on a whole different level other than the relationship. You're relearning who you are without being all mind bent all the time.
yeah. Your relationship to yourself
Yeah.
now that you've kicked alcohol out of the
Yeah.
equation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like it's like on a whole nother level about what that looks like. Because that's largely why we relapse because we're not, I don't want to say capable, because that's like a misnomer. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're all capable of coping. Okay. I want to make it clear we used to be chased by mountain lions and bears and stuff. Like, alcohol's not as scary as we build it up to be, right?
Yeah.
Comes back to that negative self-talk thing. But yeah, it's hard to make the choice to change because the choice we've been making for so long. We talk about this in the, neuroplasticity episode.
Mm-hmm.
We built these patterns, habits, whatever you want to call them, addictions, I suppose, where we just can't seem to get our head right. So
Yeah.
we keep making the wrong choice. So different. You're asking for me when I got sober, I was asking myself to undo a habit that I had spent more time on earth doing than not doing. At that point, basically 2/3 of my life was spent
Mm-hmm.
drinking,
Yeah.
1/3 heavily. So that's a lot to ask from a person, right?
Yeah. When you resist that change, when you resist adapting to change, like somebody who's against, like, oh, I'll never change. I am, this is who I am.
Right.
That's BS.
Yeah.
Everybody should be changing. The
I'm with you there.
relationship should be changing and evolving. That's
Mhm.
called, there's a little word for that. It's called growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird, huh?
It's like
And
a
when
thing
we're,
we're supposed to do.
yeah, and when people are super resistant to that, it creates a lot of friction in the relationship, and on your side, friction with yourself, your self
Totally.
concept, yourself, like all of that.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed it. That was what the experience was like, you know. Uh, Friction is such a good word to describe it because there's like a stickiness to it, that a
Mhm.
resistance as things are moving and sliding. Um, a resistance to change is experiencing friction from
Yeah.
one state to the next, right?
Yeah.
Um, I love that. I really do. Um, so I kind of want to move over. So I was thinking about talking about some rehab and some detox, getting sober stuff today.
Yeah.
And
I
this
think that
seems
leads
like a good
that
time.
leads in. Then we can talk about Jeff's question.
Yeah, I mean, I should be able to hammer all that out like together as
Awesome.
one.
Let's
So
get into it.
what if I don't want to, man?
Let's do it.
Well, hey, we got a hype man in the house now. So let's talk rehab and detox. First of all, like, let's talk who's drinking. I'm sorry, guys, I gotta hit you with some facts and figures today. There's just really no way to do this otherwise. That's just the reality. Because it drives home the importance of all this. Also, why people do go to rehab and why
Yeah.
you might want to. So, the National Survey on Drug Use and Health, 2021. That's where these beginning statistics are going to come from. 131.2 million adults in the United States over the age of 18 have drank in the past month. Okay, so to put that in perspective, that's like 50%, just over 50% of the population, adult 18 plus population in the US. And 59 million of those people have reported binge drinking in the last month. Okay, and that's where it gets kind of troublesome, right? So, according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, as we will refer to it, they are saying that binge drinking is if you drink five drinks as a male or 4 drinks as a female in in one sitting in the last month, you're binge drinking. Okay. That's like a lot of people's the way that we do it. You go out to a bar on a Friday night once a month and you drink more than, 1 or 2 units, right?
Yeah.
So we'll take that a step further. We're looking at 16.2 million have reported heavy drinking in the past month. And to put that into perspective, that means you're binge drinking 5 or more days in a month.
Yeah.
So if you do it a couple times each weekend, like the weekend, you're probably falling in this category. And that then gives us the figure that kind of leads into the whole rehab thing, which is 28.6 million people reported having alcohol use disorder in the last year. Well, it'd be 2021. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's over 10% of the adult population. That's a lot of people that are drinking. So who seeks treatment? And this sucks a lot, actually, because most people don't seek treatment for drinking. People seek treatment because their drinking is adversely affecting their health. So they go to treatment because they're like dying, not because they think that their drinking is an issue, which is problematic. And that's why only 1.3 million adults received treatment in 2021. Out of that 28.6 million that could have used it. And just so we're clear, treatment means inpatient treatment, outpatient treatment. It could just be a detox. It could be going to your psychiatrist. It includes all of those things. So not a lot of people are going to get the help that they need, is what it comes down to. And what's even worse is only 1% of all those people that have alcohol use disorder are using any sort of evidence-based method, medicines or otherwise, to get treatment.
That seems like a misrepresented statistic if they're talking detox, because how many people are they arresting and taking into detox and considering that treatment?
Dude, so
how many of those are arrests? Like, that to me is crazy. Like, it to me, I would think the number is far lower of people actually seeking treatment once you take away or correct for some of these treatment options.
That's the shit show of this. Like, so we're gonna go over in this is that, like, there's really no clean way to unpack this. And I'm a facts and figures stats guy. I am all about statistics. I went to college. I like having hard data. I'm a data guy, and the data just doesn't exist, unfortunately, because there's no codification anywhere that says this is what it should look like. This is what we're reporting this as, or anything like that. So basically, that's why I say all of these things lumped together. Like, I should be able to find a statistic on just inpatient treatment. What is the relapse rate? That's not a thing that exists. It just doesn't exist out there because it's all self-reported. If I own a rehab center, I don't owe anyone anything to do that. It's the United States, man. Like, I have my rehab. I'm doing my thing. I promise you it's good. Like, that's unfortunately kind of how it goes. So we'll get to Matt's question about that in a few.
Okay.
So then let's talk a little bit about the cost of treatment for alcohol use disorder, because this is kind of the worst part of it and maybe why people don't seek treatment. We're talking, and this is the National Center for Drug Abuse Statistics, because I'm sorry to hit you with all these huge things, but that's just how these organizations go. They're looking at $1,750 for the cheapest medical detox in the whole United States. This is for US only. I'm sorry, folks. They're to anywhere else. Like, it's where I'm at. It's what I know. It's what I'm doing. So that's just for detox. That's like 2 to 3 days, and then you're out on the street again. Usually in a hospital is how this is going to happen, or a psychiatric facility, which I did, and it was the worst experience of my life. I was drinking in less than 3 hours of getting out. So I can't blame the facility for that, but I can blame the facility for that. It was horrible. I'll tell that story later. $6,000 for the cheapest inpatient program, with the average being roughly $36,000 for 60 to 90 days. So we're clear, inpatient is more institutional. It's going to be in like a hospital. It's going to be in like a psychiatric facility, or usually state-funded, state-run mental health facilities. Okay. But yeah, again, so $36,000 for a 60 to 90 day stay. So we're clear, with the messed up statistics that exist, they're basically saying that someone needs 60 days minimum to have any sort of real positive outcome from treatment, which is insane for that amount of money. And then when we talk residential, and this is what most people want to do. This is like the rehab that we think of in our head when we think about rehab. This is $5,000 to hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the level of luxury. Like, because there's luxury rehabs that have spas and all this sorts of stuff, right? The average is about $42,000, and most private facilities have a minimum of $20,000 for a stay. And this is not 60 to 90 days. This is 3 to 6 weeks for that
Oh,
amount of
wow.
money. Yeah, yeah. The rehab I went to was a 30-day program, and it was $35,000 when it was all said and done.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. And then you get into really fun things, which is like aftercare. I did sober living. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was like asked to leave the house I was staying at
Mm-hmm.
because of my drinking, and it was like $1,000 a month for a room. A room. Okay, it's more expensive for me to be in sober living with no real aftercare. I mean, there was nobody babysitting me. They didn't give me food. They didn't do anything like that. It's furnished with like something out of the 70s, but it's $1,000 for a room, and most of them are $1,500 a month for somebody to be in sober living, which is more than like normal rent in an apartment or something like that. And then the other treatment is outpatient, and we're looking at $8,500 for most 3-month programs. So that's, if you think about all these numbers, they're often out of people's reach, unfortunately,
Yeah.
which then puts them in the inpatient state funded treatment things. Because like if you have Medicaid and that kind of stuff, you can usually find yourself in facilities like that. It'll be covered.
Yeah.
Even I have really good insurance. Excuse me. It still cost me out of my own pocket like about $10,000 when I went to rehab. I completely drained all of my savings and retirement funds.
Damn.
I make a joke with my wife. I tell her I was saving for the future. I just didn't expect it to come so quickly. She doesn't think that's as funny as I do. I think it's hilarious, but that's who I am. So then let's talk relapse rates real quick. Okay.
Yeah.
This is what actually sucks, because there's no universally accepted criteria. It's all self-reported. So looking at a smattering of data from different facilities, it's like 40 to 60%, depending on who you're talking to, which is really unfortunate, because then how do you know where you go? Like if you went to a car dealership and you're like, hey, does this car run? You're like, there's a 40 to 60% chance that it runs. Like, you're not going to go buy a car there, right? But when it comes to rehab, you're kind of at their mercy, which is very problematic when you're talking about a mental health issue, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it would take to change any of that. I don't know that that's my mission here on earth, but my mission is to tell you about it. And it's like 40 to 60% chance that you will in fact relapse when you leave. And I also found statistics that anywhere upwards of like 7 to 10 rehab stays before somebody finds long lasting sobriety, which by the way is only like 3 to 5 years, depending on the facility, is what they've decided long lasting sobriety is. And then they also don't want to talk about this thing called spontaneous remission, because they've decided that because alcohol's a are you kidding me right now? Word's gone. I'm so sorry, guys. But it's like if you had diabetes, those kinds of things, doesn't go away. I can't think of the word right now. I apologize. But because it's persistent, you shouldn't be able to just fall into remission. But people do. They will just want, people even do it with heroin. They'll just like get sober one day, no treatment, no nothing. So that kind of makes you wonder, like, is it really a disease? Is it really what everyone says it is?
Yeah.
But that being said, when it comes to finding a good rehab, you need to dig, and you need to find, there's reviews. There are reviews. People have done Google reviews, Facebook reviews, all sorts of different places where they're reviewing rehab facilities that they went to. So you got to dig through that. Or like me, I got drunk and I called a place. That's what I did. I just wanted help, and I said, screw it, let's go. That's how I picked. I did not verify anything. I don't know if my treatment was better or worse. There were people there that had been to multiple rehabs that said this place wasn't too bad. But I don't have anything to compare it to. So for the sake of time, because we're running a little long on my end, but I do want to talk a little bit about my experience with detoxes and rehabs. Detoxes suck. They're not very useful unless you immediately have some sort of aftercare plan, because they're not really going to give you much of that. Like if you think about it, you spend 3 to 5 days in the hospital sick, trying like just going through withdrawal. You don't have like the cognitive ability to take in new coping mechanisms for when you get out. So yeah, it will save your life. You won't die from withdrawal, but it's not going to give you tools to stay sober when you get out. So I am a fan of detox if you have something somewhere else you're going to go, something else you're going to do after that. But if you're just going into detox and you're like, oh, I'm going to white knuckle it through sobriety after this, don't waste your money. It sounds weird to have a sober coach say that, but that's the reality. I don't want you to waste your money.
Yeah.
Rehabs, it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I first of all, I was concerned I was going to die. Honestly, I almost died through withdrawal previously, and everything I read, it just kind of gets worse over time. And I didn't want my roommates to find me like that because that would have been rude. So I figured I would go somewhere else where they could monitor me. Like that's really the main reason that I went to rehab. And I didn't really have anywhere to go. Like it just seemed like, hey, if I'm going to light my life on fire, this seems like the best way to do it. So let's go lock myself away for a month and see what happens. I credit some of my sobriety to rehab. I picked up a lot of tools, but statistically, the rehab I went to, anecdotally, from what I went through with the people that I was in with, is so much lower than a 40 to 60%. And I'm sorry, the place I went, if anybody that went there is watching this or whatever, there's really only like 4 or 5 of us right now that are sober from like 100+ people that I met during my 30 days while I was there. I mean, people left halfway through the program. Another thing that's weird about rehabs is they tell you to be honest, but they give you a day where you can leave on a weekend for a while. And then like, hey, be honest with us. And then if you're honest with them and you say, hey, I slipped up while I was drinking, I slipped up while I was out and I went drinking, they will kick you out of the program. They will make you start over. They will make you pay again. So then do they really want you to be honest? And then does that really foster trust in a relationship between you and a care provider? It's just, no, it doesn't. Like it's just, and I'm not, like I already said, I gave you the statement that I felt like it was useful in my recovery. So I'm not disparaging rehab, but there are so many things that are problematic within that system. That it is a money-making machine in the United States. That's a reality. You don't at me. It's fact. Go figure it out for yourself. Look it up. Like it's a thing. When you have court systems, like Ryan was talking about previously, court systems forcing you to detox or forcing you to go to inpatient, that's all state funded. They cannot force you to go to rehab unless they're willing to foot the bill. That's just not how it works. So, hey, all of a sudden you find yourself in a state funded inpatient program, which means that you and I and all these other taxpayers are paying for it. And then the legal system's forcing people to go fund it. So it's just kind of, it's a problem. And those places are also where, no offense to the new therapists, that's where they go to learn how to do this stuff. So you are needing treatment, getting treatment from someone that doesn't quite know what they're doing yet, right?
Yeah.
So it's just that's it. I would love to share like specific stories. I might do that at a later segment, but I could talk your ear off for like hours and hours about what I went through.
Well, my question on that, because you skimmed over it and you're like, hey, a lot of people go detox, don't have something after it. Like, is there something you set people up with, like a plan for after detox, or do you have a quick entry into your program for like the minute they get out, they have you to contact as a point of contact? Like, can they set that up through you before they go to detox and then go detox and you're there right when they get out?
Yeah, well, 100%. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I'm an outpatient care option. Like that's what I do. That's the role that I provide. So if I do like people to, part of the vetting process before I even take someone on is like, do they even need a detox? Because if they do, I'll still take them on. But if you have not detoxed, like it's pretty much out of the question. Like I can't take that.
But what does that look like if they haven't detoxed? Like, is it, hey, when you're detoxing, say tomorrow, you're going into detox, you'll be there 3 days. When you get out, this is what needs to happen.
Totally. Yeah. So then that's why I run on my outpatient programs. It's like twice a week. So it's like, hey, you go detox. If you're getting out on Monday, then we're going to meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we're going to
Yeah.
stick with that schedule for a while, as best we can. I have to be a little flexible, but yeah, no, catch them right as soon as they get out, and then make sure. The other thing is like, man, you got people around you that love you and want you to stay sober. Like I never took this guy on as a client. This was early on before I was even doing the coaching. There was a guy that went to rehab, and when he got out, he was like, I don't know what to do now. I was like, go to your parents' house. Because he'd already previously told me, like, his parents were super supportive of all this. They're the ones that took him to this treatment facility and all that. I was like, call your mom and dad. They're not going to tell you no. If you're like, hey, I'm afraid to go home at this point. Like, can I come stay at your house? They're like, yeah, like come right over. So there's a lot of options that we just don't, for reasons of pride, we just don't consider, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry for glossing over that. I wasn't trying to sales pitch people. I was just trying to give them the information.
Well, no,
right?
I mean, it's not a sales pitch, but it's important that they know, especially if they're struggling right now. Hey, I can go detox and get a hold of Dillon, and
Totally.
I can have the tools to make sure that I have the best chance possible once I get out.
Totally. Yeah, guys, just so you know, I'm in marketing, but I suck at marketing myself. So there's that. Thanks somebody else for helping me. But yeah, it's like I have a weird relationship with how to handle that kind of stuff on the show. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I am a resource. I know that. Like, well, and I think it probably, yeah, it doesn't matter.
I'm just all about people getting help and having the help and
Totally.
having the knowledge.
That is something I'm coming to terms with, realizing that, like, hey, I've helped every client I've worked with. I can help more if I tell people I do this, right?
Yeah.
So then what I want to do real quick is like, there's gonna be a part 2 where I'm gonna cover aftercare, and that's gonna be a little bit of stories with Dillon time, because I got out of treatment immediately, had all my tools taken away. That's why I say I credit rehab a little bit, but not all the way, because everything I was told to do, everything that they told me to do when I got sober, was gone as soon as I got out of treatment. It was insane. So here's to being sober, whether you have a cool safety net or not, because you had to. And yeah, Matt, again, to answer your question, just read reviews if you're super concerned about it. I'm also kind of the mind that if you want it bad enough, you can have it. And another thing that's super helpful is that pain point of paying for it. Because like the overwhelming majority of the people that are still sober from like my graduating class of rehab, we paid for it somehow or another. We didn't have grandparents, parents, court system, anything like that pay for all the bill. Like, it financially hurt us. So then I don't think about it so much anymore, but early on in recovery, it was like, if I thought about going and buying a bottle for $5, I'm like, you're just pissing $10,000 down the drain, dude. Like, is that what you want to do? Like, you want to explain that to everyone? Like, yeah, I don't have a retirement fund. Also, I'm drunk. Like, that pain was something that definitely deterred me. So, yeah. So there's some thoughts for you about that whole thing.
I like it. Well, we have 10 minutes. I wanted to bring Nicole's up real quick.
Okay. Sorry, I took forever
Oh,
today, guys.
You're good. You're good. Nicole said, what if you have a partner and they don't care that you're an alcoholic? I don't think he realizes how much I drink. Should I show him or tell him somehow different? Number one, I want to bring up, this isn't about him. Like, who cares if he cares? It should be about you. Like, if you know you're an alcoholic and you need to get the help, why does it matter if he knows how much you're drinking or not?
Broski.
Sorry, my phone is blowing up. It doesn't matter how much he knows you're drinking or whatever the case is. Like, your thing is, you just called yourself an alcoholic. Why aren't you getting help for yourself? Why is this about somebody else? That's my 2 cents on that one.
That's the right kind of cold. That's the best way to serve that. Because that is the reality.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear, kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
Because you've just let us know you have a problem. So then you now have to take responsibility for it and do something about it, instead of using your partner as the excuse to not. Like,
Yeah.
because I see people do this. I see people, they will be sober and then they want to start with me. Then they start drinking. Then they don't want to start because they started drinking again. And then they're like, well, I'm thinking I might detox. Okay. That's back to what we talked about earlier in the show. Thinking I might go to a detox and then get started with you. I'm like, if you are at the point that you've decided that you need something like that, then you need it and then you need to do it. And the more you talk about it, the more you let the world be your excuses to not take action, the further down the rabbit hole you're going to go. Like, it doesn't get easier. There's no point. There's no point in which your drinking gets easier to manage. It's
Yeah.
not a thing. You know, it's just, I'm sorry. That's why I relapsed so many times before I got sober, is because I thought imagination land told me someday it would become manageable. It wasn't. So,
And also that's kind of a lie, saying that he doesn't care that you're an alcoholic. The bottom line is, every single partner in relationships wants their partner to be the best version of themselves possible.
yeah.
And if you're an alcoholic, there's no way you're the best version of yourself.
Amen, dude. That's why I never want to drink again.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
Like at that point, you're only bringing half of yourself to the relationship, if that.
100%.
So whether you think that they don't care that you're an alcoholic, they do.
Yeah.
They're
Totally.
they're just supporting you because they love you.
Yeah.
They're being supportive in how they know to be supportive. But I guarantee you, if you quit drinking, brought the best version of yourself to the relationship every day, they would support that 10 times more.
Yeah. Because you bring 10 times of you to the table.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Weird how that works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's like my wife today. She's supportive of things she would have never gotten behind in the past because of my drinking. You know, like, yeah, how long is that going to last?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and now I've through experience gained that trust back where she's like, okay, yeah. Like, and I mean, we had a conversation years back about if I ever started drinking again, and she was like mildly supportive of it in that conversation. Like, yeah, you could, but you need to listen to me and all this stuff. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think if I told her like, hey, I'm thinking about drinking, she'd be like, cool. Did you pack your bags yet? Or do you need help? Like, what's the plan here?
Yeah. And you could hear that in her tone and what she said, but you need to listen to me. That but always insinuates this isn't cool.
Totally. Well, the other thing too is like, woman, I didn't do it earlier either. I didn't listen to you the first time. Why the hell would you think I would listen to you now? Like, I'm not, you know.
Yeah.
I know myself well enough to not do that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, we are running short on time, guys. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Like, I needed to share that important information for anyone listening that is considering rehab, so that you enter in with like open eyes.
I like it. I appreciate it.
I do feel bad for Ryan. I'm sorry to Ryan for hogging this thing the whole show.
I got my jabs in there once in a while.
You did? Yeah, I mean, it was useful too. Yeah, so I don't think we can really cover another topic. I think we covered the questions that came in today. We didn't miss anything, did we?
No, we got them all.
So then let's talk next week. Our nightly segments won't have a topic.
No.
I mean, they'll have topics, but they're not going to have like a primary host like we do on same. Like we do on this Friday segment. Speaking of this Friday segment, next week it's Ryan's turn, and active listening. Yeah,
I believe it's active listening.
My show notes say that it is, and the email I sent out also say that it is. So
I do not have them. So
hey, we'll we'll be professional enough at some point. We'll like have a shared document, and we'll be able to look at it. But yes, according to my notes and the email I sent out, all things being true, active listening. And I did promise everybody thing. So I had somebody build a Discord server. For those of you that don't know what Discord is, it is completely anonymous. So I created it. It doesn't have your picture, doesn't have your name, unlike Facebook, where we were interacting as ourselves. So there's a place where you can interact not as yourself that I created. I paid to have somebody build it so that you can interact seamlessly. It puts you in different areas depending on your level of sobriety. So if you're a spouse, there's a special chat room only you have access to. And I did that on purpose because you don't need some guy that's still drinking coming into that chat and injecting his thoughts on how you're being a poor, non-supportive spouse. It's just not how it should work. So there's like special rooms you get access to. I've been known to go live in there from time to time, take some questions, that kind of stuff. There's a sobriety bot that can track how long you've been sober. You can check in each day. We got over 200 members at this point, ranging from still drinking to years, a decade plus of sobriety in there that you can interact with, because community is a big deal when you are getting sober. That's part of the aftercare thing that I also include in my coaching, is like a lifetime subscription to these groups and the private mentorship. So I'm going to drop a link in the comments. This is the address to sign up for it. If you'd like to do that, highly encourage you to do so. The more in there, the merrier. And I will put a link in the comments and a link in the show notes for those of you that are listening to this as a podcast. Yeah. So I really do hope that you join. It is a blast. I think it's a blast. Had plenty of people come in and you can get your answers in real time. The idea in my head is that there are so many members that if you came in and you asked a question, you're going to get an answer right then and there instead of having to wait. And you have someone to talk to, right?
Accountability and support.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, just drop the comment with the link. And like I said, I'll put it in the show notes. Where do we go from here, Ryan?
We say au revoir and good day.
Yeah. And then again, we'll be live Tuesday night at 9 Central. Will be the next time. Ryan will not have a topic. He'll have a topic next Friday. And I will do my best to get this Dillon and the Doc Facebook page / group put together. That might actually, now that I said that out loud, building a group too might not be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Thank everybody for, I want to thank everybody for being on the show. Thanks for coming here, checking us out today. We appreciate your time. You're what makes all this worth it.
Yeah.
So,
y'all take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Great Friday night, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah. Catch you later.